Good.
Yep. Sweet. All right, ready to go.
All right. Ed, thanks for coming down today. I know it's early and you've got a lot of stuff to do with the kids and things.
It's really not. It's really not early.
It's not early.
No.
How early do you start?
I don't know. What time do you start?
5:30.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good
You're
to
a
see
very handsome young man.
It's gonna be one of those days.
It is.
Do you teach in the mornings?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Today I didn't.
Yeah.
The old bald Greek guy canceled on me.
Ah.
Yeah.
Name and shame?
Well, I won't do that.
No, you won't.
But yeah.
So obviously, going by your accent, if the people who don't know you, you're not from around here.
How do you define that?
Were you born in Australia?
No. Were you?
No, neither was I.
Where were you born?
I was born in Iran.
Iran.
Yeah.
What part?
Tehran, the capital.
Tehran.
Yes.
Very strong wrestling legacy in Tehran.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
wrestling
great.
and combat sports in general. That's
Yep.
pretty high up.
Sanda's real popular
Yeah.
in Iran.
Kyokushin, and now even a lot more like Taekwondo and Judo and Muay Thai. So.
And normal karate like WKA,
JKF and stuff, yeah.
WKF. My business partner is the Australian national coach.
All right.
So there's a few Iranian refugee guys that
Yep.
he trains,
Yeah.
coaches, whatever the word is.
Yeah, it seems like some of those countries that have a different political system, they really value the fight sports, so they put a lot of money into it. Fight sports in general, but they put a lot of money and backing into fight sports and strength sports, so weightlifting and combat sports. I think it's meant to be
Okay, Sai,
iconic.
do you believe that? That they value the sport?
No, they value the results of the sport.
Now,
for
I don't
their
want to become
gain.
political here, but
No, but that's what they do it.
but
It's
let's
like- yeah.
become a little political.
Politically, that's what they do it for. I think they do it.
What about proxy wars?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but
We're about to. I think they're about to have one soon.
well, but I don't have enough firepower for you to talk about that. But proxy wars, a lot of what do you call it? Countries that want to be strong tend to be drawn to combat sports.
Yep, 100%.
And they are strong in the combat sports.
Yep, yeah.
Certain parts of Russia
Yes, yep.
that are actually looked down on by other parts of Russia can supply the greatest
Fighters.
percentage of fighters and combat sports combatants.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dagestan.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Chechens. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you were born in the States?
I was. You
And-
really, I really, talking about me is not fun. I don't think. Okay,
We'll get the base and then we'll go. What was your first foray into combat sports? Wrestling?
I was a wrestler
Wrestler.
first.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just in the neighborhood boys club
Yeah.
in Plymouth, Massachusetts, right there on Cape Cod Bay. If anybody's really cares, I can't see anybody, but I guess we're gonna shout out to people.
Yeah. So collegiate wrestling. So different to Olympic wrestling?
Right, the folk style.
Yeah.
Sometimes referred to as collegiate. Folk style is the same.
Yep.
I'm gonna test your knowledge here of
So they
combat sports.
So they go through high school and then college wrestling, and then from that, usually once they have success at college level, they move into freestyle and Greco-Roman, which is a more international.
Probably not true.
Yep.
Your best wrestlers, they would be plucked into the freestyle and Greco system.
Yep.
Which would be if, like, let's say we're playing football, soccer, real football. Sorry, Melbourne. Anyhow, would be plucked into that system. So, like your Jordan Burroughs, whatever, have followed that line. Even though your Askrens, all those big American wrestlers, if we go back in time. But anyhow, they would be pulled into the tournaments, which are off-season,
yeah.
for school.
Yep.
Wrestling is a winter sport
Yep.
in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just listening to.
I never did any freestyle or Greco competitive wrestling.
Right.
Just trained in it, and probably more Greco training than freestyle. I never competed in any of the Olympic rule sets.
Yes.
Was all collegiate or folk style.
Yeah.
From the boys club into elementary school.
Yeah.
And then into high school.
And that folk style, they have more stuff like riding.
Plymouth Carver Blue Eagles.
They have more riding time and stuff included and overtimes, whereas freestyle, it's not so much about riding time, it's getting the points, the turns.
When I wrestled, to be honest with you, Si,
Yeah.
there was no riding time points.
All right.
They do exist now, which is a good tool to have in your toolkit for MMA.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about MMA a little bit because that's probably my number one time allocation thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then your next step was going to Muay Thai?
No.
No.
No, I went directly from the wrestling mat into the karate dojo.
Right.
Seasonally
Yeah.
at first, and then went full-time into the dojo after my wrestling career was done in high school.
What karate style was it?
I did Goju first,
Yes. Yeah.
and it was a USA Goju.
Which is different to...
This is my thing about, and this is really what I want to talk to you about,
Yeah.
Si, is my thing about karate styles, fighting styles, and whatnot. A lot of what we're drawn into, like wrestling. Wrestling was present at the boys' club that I happened to go to every Saturday afternoon. My father would give me the $1 to go get the meatball sub down on the corner, and then I'd go to the Plymouth Boys Club. It was a completely subsidized program.
Yeah.
Nice big gym, billiard tables and all that, but they had wrestling mats too.
Yeah.
And a big stack of tabaccas. Do you remember what tabaccas are?
The...
They're like battens.
Battens, for our nest.
We used to fight with those, but like we would have organized fights with them as preteens, actually.
Yeah.
So that was, if we had a tiff at the boys' club, they would hand us the tabaccas and they would set the timer.
That's awesome.
And there was a little bit of wrestling mixed in, because usually it was the wrestling coach or one of the captains from the high school.
It was
do
negligent enough to let you do it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to give you a feel for the combat sports path. But my greatest influence were probably my brothers,
Right.
who beat the crap out of me on a regular basis.
All the brothers.
Both older.
And-
Both were wrestlers also.
So was the Goju at the same place, or did you have to go search that
No,
out?
no. I actually went to what would be projects in the U.S., or what we call them, or commission flats. So
Yeah.
I used to go to like a community center in the commission flats and go do karate with Shihan David McConnell at the Dragon Horse Dojo
There you go.
in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That was my real taste, my first entry into martial arts.
Yeah.
I believe the wrestling was with my high school coach, because he really was a teacher as much as a coach.
Yes.
And he taught me how to train for real. So wrestling, karate, and then karate. I wasn't the quickest guy on the floor, on the dojo floor. And usually non-quick guys, no speed demons, and I wasn't the most athletic guy, but I was willing to have a scrap.
Yeah.
Get drawn to heavier contact.
Yes.
Because then you tend to be able to control what's going on.
Yep.
That's my experience,
No,
my
no,
personal
yeah.
experience. And also on all the guys who I train,
Yeah. Do you think you said you were more attracted to Greco over freestyle?
it wasn't see, this is what I want to talk about
Yeah.
too, is why did I go to the karate school? It's like I didn't have any prior knowledge.
It's just what was available.
It was what was available, who was there, who was a decent guy, who would teach you, who accepted you. The group of people
Yeah.
accepted me. I was one of the only white kids in the group, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
and this is an important thing. My instructor was an African American guy, and his approach, his upbringing was in there, and he was from Harlem in New York.
Yeah.
And the way he taught us was influenced by that. And in reflection, I didn't realize it at the time when I was young, but it was there.
Yeah.
And it played a role in my combat sports journey.
Yeah.
I think it still does.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, it was it's like the way you say, it's just what's available. So I wanted to do martial arts when I was a kid. Yellow Pages, the closest thing I found that my parents would take me was June Nose Taekwondo. So I went there. Then one of the trainers there, Tyrone Cross, who's now a BJJ 4th or 3rd degree black belt under John Will, was one of my instructors.
Yep.
And that's when jiu-jitsu was first becoming popular. So he started taking me to John Will's club. At John Will's club, at Kensington Stars, Laos Tui used to teach Muay Thai there. He was like still fighting. So I started doing Muay Thai with him. And it's just those chance meetings that, 25, 6 years later, I'm promoting Muay Thai.
I still train some older guys. I train a lot of older guys, actually. Yeah. And we can go back to, I guess this would have been akin to like Tino Sobrano's group.
Yeah.
He was probably at the foundational phase of martial arts, period.
Yes.
Not just karate. Forget about giving it, but what did Melbourne people do in martial arts, say, in the 60s?
So I think it was Barry
70s.
Pang and Tino Sobrano.
Then you had William Chung, right? When did he come on the scene?
Jack Rosinski with Taekwondo. That was the core group.
Yep. And even Eddie Amin.
Yes.
He was actually plucked from Taekwondo, am I right?
I'm not 100%
by the
sure,
Kyokushin guys. I think he was recruited. Let whoever explain, how that worked. But this is what I'm saying is, it's a lot of geography plays a big role. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And that was your influence.
Yes, 100%.
Look, there was a fantastic Russian ping pong coach, maybe I would have got sucked into that stream.
Yep.
If he was intense,
of course,
and kept me engaged. But that was my journey. I was drawn to physical contact, and I still am. But I guess the reason we're sitting here is because of Muay Thai.
Yes.
And without Muay Thai, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in Australia either. It is the thing that I found in my martial arts journey, in my combat sports journey, that went, when I first saw it, I knew.
Yeah.
When I first did it, I knew. And then when I actually got on that plane and traveled to Thailand, it did change my life. It changed my world.
Yes.
How I view the world, culturally. It made me aware of where I came from, what I was, what I wanted to be, and really, that's what martial arts is all about.
Yeah.
For those, I don't believe it's the panacea. I don't believe that it's for everybody. I think it can give greater value to everyone's life, but that intense journey isn't for everybody.
No.
But Muay Thai was the thing that grabbed me and gave me a view of the world that was what I needed, that what I was seeking.
Yeah.
And the the thing of clarity with Muay Thai is its honesty of technique, its truth in its combat. No one can deny the truth of a high quality Muay Thai fight.
Yeah.
And when we're still able to go see it at its highest level by getting on a short plane ride and see it presented. Well, we can actually drive down the street when you put on your thing, because you do present it in its truthful form. Now, I don't want to, I guess this is why we can circle back around to the political thing.
Yeah.
Because there is politics involved there. Politics at a government level. There's politics in gym to gym, to camp, to school, academy. You have to talk to one person a certain way. The other person you can be real with. But the combat itself it'll never let you down.
No.
It will always, the truth shall be self-evident.
Yeah.
And that's the terrible beauty of Muay Thai. And it can't be changed by any politician. It can't be changed by any coach. It can't be changed by a fighter. What am I getting at? And this is where I wanted to circle back to a fight, and I brought it up on my phone before we sat down, just so you were ready. Right. You know, the Koban Decker fight at Lumpini, that I was able to witness live.
Oh wow!
Not in person.
Yeah,
I was able to watch it on TV. That was the time when I was in Thailand. I had arrived, and I was trying to suck up as much as I could, and being a Farang or a foreigner, you've done the same thing. The gathering of knowledge is not always the straightest thing.
Yeah. And
also, who do you go to? Who do you ask? Well, my experience always was the other Farangs gave me the cleanest information. It was their interpretation. Yeah. So then when I understood the foundation and the fundamentals, and I mean culturally too, then I could get more intricacies and cultural nuances in that journey. Yeah. As much as when I say Farangs, I'm including Japanese. I was lucky enough to be with Japanese Muay Thai practitioners, which happen to be karate people too, Kyokushin people, in camp with me. And my journey was at Sichitong in Chonburi, outside of Nongplu in Pattaya. And that's where, it wasn't the first camp I went to, but it was the camp where I would say I really trained at.
Did you do Muay Thai in America and then go there? Yeah.
My introduction to real Muay Thai was from Pudpad Noi.
Yep.
5-time Lumpini champion. He was working as the French national coach, which I guess what is now IFMA. Right. I don't know what it was called back then.
Yeah.
This is the political. This is more politics.
Yeah. Actually, I saw the old badge the other day. I forgot what the name was, but it definitely had a different name. But yeah.
And I'm a great believer in amateur sport.
Yeah.
More outside of the origins, just for competition, but we'll get into that in a little while. But Pudpad Noi, Warrawut, Golden Leg, they called him. When I got to see him spar live on a bare basketball gym floor with a guy who was a pretty competent kickboxer, but had nothing for him, basically.
Yeah.
I knew instantly when I saw it in front of my own eyes, that's me. Yeah. That's what I got to do. I knew it before, but when I saw him do it at that highest level, and a French guy brought him to Cleveland, Ohio. I went with my coach, who we trained out of Providence, Rhode Island.
This is a Muay Thai coach.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
The Goju.
He was a kickboxing guy. No, there's another guy.
Oh, right, okay.
I went to him to do kickbox. His name's Dennis Pazzaretti. They call him Kid Paz. He actually fought in full contact karate and in kickboxing against people like Benny Iquides.
Yes.
And then we can circle back around to the Melbourne experience, because they have an association with them, and then we get into the Melbourne kickboxing scene and whatnot, and how I ended up here from Thailand. But I was in Thailand, and Muay Thai was the catalyst. Muay Thai was the facilitator. Muay Thai was the thing that tied us together. That's why we're sitting here, Mr. 100% Muay Thai. Which, without pissing in your pockets or, patting you on the back, you stay true to. And I haven't really stayed true to, other than technically.
Yeah.
Tactically, no.
Yep.
So, technique, yes.
Tactic, no.
The 8 limbs is there every day on my mat. I don't even have a ring. I get cage panels and walls and a mat. But is what it is. The truth of the combat will always come out.
Yeah.
People say, Ed, people who know me and know our team, they say, what does Ed do? I don't know. What do you think I do? What would you say I do?
I've seen a few guys fight.
It isn't just a simple answer.
I've seen a few guys fight, so I don't think when I watch them fight, and I've seen videos and I've seen some guys like
what about the guy sitting behind you?
Yeah, that guy, but don't worry about that guy.
Okay.
That's
Tommy
Patterson. I've seen them fight. I don't say they all fight the same way. They've all got.
I hope not. That's very important to me.
And that's what I would say is for you, because people wouldn't think of you as a Muay Thai background guy necessarily, because there's an expectation. But I think they all have their own style, and what I'm assuming is because you've had that exposure, you capitalize on their own strengths. So what you said earlier about yourself not being fast, so you got more attracted to the heavy contact stuff. And I was going back to the Greco freestyle thing, because when I wrestled, I loved Greco but not freestyle. I just found freestyle too scrambly and too fast, whereas Greco, if I could hold on to people and tie up, I love that. And I guess that's why I kind of like a little bit more of the Muay Thai side. And I think when I watch your guys from the MMA side of things, because I think Pato is more, he looks like he's got more of a boxing style, whereas I've seen some of you guys who are real wrestling heavy. Then, you got Tom, which is I don't know what Tom does.
We'll see, this is the way I
spinning
view it.
back kicks.
No, this is the way I look at it, Sai, is that look at my journey in combat sports, and I recognize the truth of my Muay Thai experience, and it continues. I still study it on a weekly, but I study it so I can tactically apply it. Mm-hmm. And part of me still wants to be beside the ring for those Muay Thai scraps.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm happy enough just to be a fan, because I am first and foremost a fan. And then we can talk about fights that I like and go a little bit history. But, there's a lot of Muay Thai that I have no knowledge of that I just get attracted to what I like. Yeah. And then I research that. But someone like Nick Pato, the banjo. Now, just to clarify, I gave him that nickname. So you listen to my accent and what blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So understand that this kid who grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, not far from Boston Harbor, lobsters, baked beans, and whatever. I didn't have a clue about Australia before I came here, but I've been here now 26 years, and I have 2 sons who were born here. My wife is Irish. But she came here when she was 12. I gave him the name Banjo because his last name was Patterson, so blah, blah, blah. You know, plus he was a average Ocker Aussie kid who actually grew up in the projects, the Commission Flats of Melbourne.
All right.
You know, he's a real knockabout guy.
Yeah, yeah. Is he fighting again? Or is he retired again?
No, I like to mess with people on social media. That's one of my, you know, I don't find social media to be nourishing at all. But anyhow, so I try to, you know,
inject some
nourishment. You know, it should be like a meal, right? Anyhow, no, he won't fight again. He's way past it. I had pads for him the other day, and it was all boxing.
Yeah.
So that's his thing. He's boxing centric.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not me as a coach being I think hands are very important. I guess you could say I'm always going to follow that Sitmon Chai Dutch style because that's what I came from.
Yeah.
That said, doesn't mean I don't appreciate the other styles of Muay Thai. Mm-hmm. It's just also, I think that's the quickest application of the 8 limbs into MMA in a cage.
100%. Yeah.
And now we're able to see Muay Thai, and however you feel about it, with the small gloves in a cage.
Yeah. And
once again, remember that however you feel about it, you know, the Y Crew Ramoy is not present. The music, there's parts of the culture that has been drawn out of it. The truth of the Muay Thai combat exists.
Yes.
And it lives there. And when you see it living in other combat sports, like MMA, celebrate it. Don't diss it. Just like when you see good boxing. And you do your boxing thing.
Yeah.
This is a good time to talk about amateur sport and AIBA.
They just lost it.
Just this morning on the way in.
Phenomenal. I saw it yesterday. I thought it was one of those prank articles. It's like, no.
I'm a boxing fan.
Yeah. Amateurs especially. I like the amateurs more than the pros. And they've lost it.
Emmanuel Stewart, to me, I still study his methods, which, some of them were crazy.
Yeah.
But the way he would gather a team is as important as, okay, look at that. Look at that geography. Imagine, the Kronk Gym.
Yeah.
And I'm jumping around all over the place, but that's the way my brain works. Manny Stewart and his approach to boxing, technically and then tactically, and these are the two things as a coach I always try to refer to when I see an athlete, see a fighter. First, their technical excellence or the lack thereof.
He's sitting right here.
Oh, yeah, let's not talk about him. Anyhow, and then their ability to tactically apply that. That's where you can't go by that truth of Muay Thai. And whether Manny Stewart understood it, there was the way he ran his house was so much like a real Muay Thai camp in a lot of ways.
Well, he took the individual, like the boxing, so many people consider as an individual trainer fighter, whereas he did have it as a team, and like you said, like a stable that trained together. And they say he was a Kronk fighter. They don't just say you're a Emmanuel Stewart fighter. Like, he was a Kronk fighter.
That's spot on, right there. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's a Kronk fighter. And what would you say? Let's define that. When someone would say, "Oh, he's a throwback. He's like a Kronk fighter." What is that first? What's the first thing that is an identifying factor or definitive?
I think technically sound, very good technically. Yep. And then just that toughness. And he basically, like, you look at the guys he had, They had power. They were technically tough, and they adapted to their opponents.
So let's take out of history someone like a Kausei Galaxy.
Yep.
He had Kronk blood in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That toughness, resolve, resilience, all the important characters, X factors on top of, like you said, I believe that stuff comes, I would say Kronk, more the X factor, the intangibles rather than the technique first. And that's what, because of Manny's knowledge, he was able to give them the technique.
Yeah.
And then truly understand his game, especially ringcraft.
Yes.
Especially ringcraft. And that's the thing. This is the knock, and you can knock the MMA across the board, even at the highest level. I see it every weekend when I watch televised fights, is what is absent.
Yes.
Is the cage craft or ring craft. Not always, but a lot of the time. And that's the knock from the boxing community. That's the knock from the striking community, your Muay Thai and kickboxing.
But I think, having what you just said, I think there is more and more coaching that ends at technique. Like you'd see people who, you'll see their videos, you'll see the stuff they put out on social media, you see them training, and I see them at shows where they can teach technique of this is how you jab, this is how you cross, this is how you body kick, but putting it together in the ring and seeing the fighter, how they are in the ring and how they deal with the situations, that's completely lacking. So that tactical plus all the other stuff, that's what's missing. It kind of feels like it ends at technique. So you watch them holding pads and it's like, that's a really cool, long, drawn-out combo you're showing your fighter, but there's no application of that tactic in the ring in combat.
Oh, okay. This weekend.
Yeah.
Sage Northcutt.
Yes.
Boom. You know, was that a shot heard around the world? I'm in the combat sports world for sure. And this is where I feel it most, is because I came originally from a karate background and a wrestling background.
Yeah.
And that's his background. But I had the luck of the draw, the whatever. The Muay Thai provided me with the truth in training first, and then competitively when I got to fight in Muay Thai. Nothing was truer to me on that path. I feel that's what was absent in his journey to date. So you got in 29 seconds all the truths of Muay Thai. Now, I don't take joy in seeing him get hurt and to have pieces of his skull go into 30 pieces.
Yeah.
Or part, whatever, however I should say that. But the terrible beauty of that one strike defines the two journeys of Cosmo and Sage. You know, that's all the Muay Thai guys, all the MMA guys, all the boxing guys, all the, you know, and this is a big group of human beings. And then all your MMA guys, first thing the real MMA guys go, okay, Sage, where were you training? Where were you training? Where were you training?
Where was he training?
TAM, at Team Alpha Male.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got on a plane
Yeah.
to go to Thailand to train what?
Muay Thai.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's where you go to train in Muay Thai. It is where you go.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, you don't fly to the Gold Coast to train in Muay Thai. You don't fly to WA to train in Muay Thai. You don't.
No.
You can, but should you? Make a decision. Okay? So he went to Team Alpha Male to train in what part of MMA? What part? Our first subject we were talking.
Wrestling centric, yeah.
I would hope so,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, I mean, Uriah Faber is not a Muay Thai specialist.
No.
He's not even a striking specialist.
No, they've had striking coaches, but they've come and gone.
And who were their striking coaches? This is what I'm getting at. And I'm an American kid who grew up in America.
Yeah.
I grew up in the United States. But one thing I say, this is the truth of combat sits where?
In the combat, in the results, in the combat.
But I'm sorry, you don't get on a plane and fly to Denver, Colorado to learn Muay Thai.
No.
You do not.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I understand.
You want to learn Muay Thai.
'Cause he was with Ludwig, they had Ludwig and they had Master Tong and then he left.
I completely respect everything they do.
Yeah.
But as far as a journey, the truth of the combat is the truth of the combat. Now, I'm not saying you have to get on a plane, but we saw truths in front of our own eyes.
But that was like Rich Franklin when he fought Anderson Silva and couldn't get out of like the most basic, like almost over cliched
But when
position.
when we peel back to that era,
Yeah.
This is how quick MMA has evolved, martial arts has evolved.
Yeah.
The knowledge that's out there. I sat in the stands in Manama, Bahrain in 2018, 2017. I can't remember. What's this? The Raging Cajun Canadian kid, Cajun Johnston. He was a UFC fighter, and he spoke up, and it got him in trouble. But he's a nice kid.
Yeah.
He was sitting right behind me, and the Swedish national team has very good jiu-jitsu, has very good striking, has very good wrestling. So the Swedish were number one in amateur MMA at one point.
Yeah.
They're still in the top 5. They're fantastic. And I heard him, he's the kind of guy who wears everything on his sleeve. He speaks up. He goes, Swedes, how come their jiu-jitsu is so good? Well, all the jiu-jitsu knowledge has no more secrets. There's no more secrets.
Yeah.
There's Brazilians everywhere. There's Thais everywhere. But if you really want to immerse yourself in BJJ,
Go to Brazil.
you can go to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
but you're going to miss some of the cultural nuances that can change the way you think about it
Yeah.
and the way you take the information.
But that's I think what a lot of Thais here say, even when they're coaching here, is like if you're not inside that culture in Thailand, you don't understand the sport. Like they always say, you guys don't understand the sport because you're not in it, you don't see it, and you don't have a 7-year-old kid that's already seen so much Muay Thai on TV. It's like a kid here who's watched Aussie Rules football. You've missed it out.
We're in camp. It's 1990.
Yeah.
You go out, you leave on the rural dirt road out of Sityodtong and go for a run.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that happens? Hello, boxing man. Hello, boxing. Old lady, young guy. They know what you're doing.
Yes.
And I don't have Muay Thai shorts on. A lot of them wear them when they run. I didn't.
Yeah.
Just how did that change me as a martial artist, as a fighter, as a person who came from, it was February. It was December when I got on the plane the first time in 1989. So it was winter time. So I came from, there's no Muay Thai in 1990 in Boston.
Yeah.
There might have been some in back in, just like at Ziggy's here, in the kitchen, at the Thai cooks in the local Thai restaurant. Even Thai food was not that prevalent back then in the 90s. It grew very quickly. But there were a few Thai restaurants, and there was probably Laos and Cambodians.
Yes, yeah.
So, there's Muay Thai culture. Whatever, Kun Khmer, Muay Lao,
Yeah.
whatever you're going to call it, Bando, the Burmese, or now, how do I even say
Little
it? Myanmar.
Little yeah. Myanmar.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Thank you. So all your Southeast, but you know, Thailand's is the hub of Muay Thai. So what am I saying? I'm just saying that it didn't exist, and then when I was able to get off the plane in Bangkok and then go on, you know, I did my first training in Bangkok, and I did the Khao San Road thing the first time, But this was before internet, and all I had was my Lonely Planet and one address. That was all I had when I got off the plane. And there was no internet. I had no phone, nothing. That was my journey.
Yes.
But what was liberating was when I found Muay Thai, for real. And I was able to find it in a way that they allowed the Farang to train.
Yeah, because Sityodtong had that exposure. A lot of foreign, like a lot of Australians and stuff went there to train as well. Yeah.
Like, two guys helped me out, a Swedish guy and an Australian guy named Damien Meyer. I don't know if you know Damien. But he had a lot of fights back in the kickboxing time in the 90s. You know, he fought guys like Frank Lanciana. Yeah, and Franco I trained with under Dave Hedgecock, blah, blah, blah. But I met him at Sityodtong. He's from Perth.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's works in
So how'd you get from Thailand to here? What was the connection to that?
I met a few guys who aren't with us anymore.
Yeah.
In camp, and I always got along with the Europeans and the Australians.
Yeah. I
tended not to get along with the other Americans, to be honest with you. And it was because of the Truth of Combat stuff. You know, so I guess I was the only one that was really embracing the Muay Thai thoroughly.
Yeah.
You know, but the point where I went back like 14 times.
Oh shit.
You know, when I had my fights, I did the you know, you had used the 3-month visa. You know, when I went the first few times, the way you got your visa, you put it in an envelope and you mailed it to New York, and I was in Boston, so that's a 5-hour drive. I wasn't going to drive there. I mailed it, and it would come back with the visa stamp, with the Kingdom of Thailand.
Yes. So
That
much
was
easier
special.
now.
That was special.
Yeah.
You know, and it became more and more important to me, and it's still important to me. That's what I'm saying. I was able to go back just within the last month. When was it? Last month? This month? This month. I was in Bangkok. We went for the MMA amateurs, and we actually were in the venue that holds the IFMA internationals.
Yeah.
The Ambassador Hotel, and we actually they put the cage on the ring platform for the IFMA things.
Really?
It was kind of odd, but it was oddly wonderful. And what was cool was even in the background they had the Moncon Academy banner.
Yes.
Was over the IMAP.
That's fun.
You know, it was like a, you know.
You're here, but, you know.
I couldn't get past the metaphor. You know.
Yeah.
It was fun. Was funny. It was outside, you know, it was just a roof. It was hot. It was humid. It was Thai.
Yeah.
The Thai team was there. God bless them. I don't think they won one fight.
Yeah.
And
are they
the Muay Thai
ex-Muay Thai guys coming in, or just general fan, like, well, I'm going to be a fighter?
You're gonna have to answer that for me.
Yeah.
The Muay Thai wasn't present too much in the cage, and I tried to engage him afterwards. There was one guy, I think he was a coach or a cornerman, and he's a pro, and he's fighting on the One Warrior Series for one in Singapore. I think he's already had 1 or 2 fights on that, and we had a good exchange, and you know, I said to him, you know, were you guys wrestling? You know, you can't fight Dagestanis and Kazakhs and not wrestle. You got to be wrestling. You know, jiu-jitsu, you could tell they they do their jiu-jitsu every day, but just one of those things.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, you fought in Thailand?
Me?
Yeah.
3 times, yes.
Yeah, and then you fought in Australia?
Yes.
Beautiful. And so you moved here after you met these guys?
You really
I do.
I don't
really
want to talk about me.
I like talking about you.
I'm
interested. You moved to Australia and you you fought.
Okay, so I went Bangkok. I went to Thailand, 89, 90, 91, 92. 91 is when I came to Australia for the first time.
Yeah.
And to train, but I didn't tell anybody I was coming.
Yeah.
I had just met these guys who were no longer with us. God bless them, rest in peace. At Sityodtong, and they said, anytime you want to come down, people always say that.
Yeah.
And
you
no
did.
one ever shows up. Well, I showed up and I didn't tell them ahead of time. It wasn't, what was the landline phones back then. I wasn't going to call Australia. I just showed up. And ended up training and fighting here with the team. And
so was it, because I'm trying to sort of see how we've come from where we were, I guess.
So I went from Sityodtong.
So you came there, but the
and
Melbourne
I trained
fights
with
were
Dave Hedgecock.
Dave Hedgecock. And were you fighting, did you end up having to fight kickboxing or Muay Thai here?
I
Because we were
fought kickboxing here and Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah, modified Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So I with no elbows. And then I got to go back to the U.S., and that was modified. That was modified Muay Thai also.
Yeah.
Unlimited clinch, but no elbows. So, the lines were blurred between pro and amateur back then. They were paying us, and they were paying us to get places. What do you define? Now it's a clear line as far as rules.
Yeah, it's still a bit, like, even in Melbourne, it's still a bit funny because there's still guys who'll fight as pros but don't get paid. And then I was having this guys who messaged the Instagram page for Rebellion a lot about coming and fighting and stuff. And then one of them messaged me all the time and I said, where are you based? And he said, America. I'm like, what's your record? And he's like, this is my amateur record, but this is my pro record. And then he wrote a 1-page thing about it's not a clearly defined, you're fighting as an amateur and you've got 16-ounce gloves and headgear and shin guards. So I think that's still, for Muay Thai, it's a thing that goes a little bit in the air. And even now, I think IFMA and WMC is starting to blur the lines with it a little bit because you can still get Yachts and Clyde going back and fighting IFMA rules.
That's interesting because then you got we've been involved with wacko stuff more at the international level, national level, and K1.
Yeah.
But once again, the truth of, you say what you want, the truth of Muay Thai, always there. It's more having an international experience.
Yeah.
Especially in places like Serbia, Bulgaria. I think that those less traveled places with those Eastern European fighters, that's more what I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
Because you look at them rise in Muay Thai, period, and then over into kickboxing, and then, it's happening with MMA too.
Yeah. Because even like the IFMA worlds have been in Sweden and in Turkey and stuff, and it's like...
And you can have pros fighting, right?
But the kids, like you said, it's like they get to go to these places that, they hold stuff in Ukraine and
like
Uzbekistan and stuff, and they get this exposure.
Stoica brothers, they fight wacko in wacko worlds for Romania. And, obviously highly experienced professional kickboxers.
Yeah.
So, you and I don't make those rules. We just go, okay, what can we go do? And it's more about, we want to fight against guys like that.
Yeah.
And 2, when you take the money out of it and you got to do the sausage sizzle and whatever to get there, that's what I had to do when I went to Thailand.
Sausage sizzle?
Oh, I didn't do sausage sizzle.
There was no GoFundMe pages back then.
I was a chef. That was my trade. So I was working in hotels and clubs and restaurants.
This is such a Steven Seagal thing.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, we did. Steven
we don't.
Seagal. Yeah. We went Muay Thai, Truth in
no,
Combat.
yeah,
we're not going there, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing about the path we walk.
Yeah.
Is about that truth and not. Two, it's about the guys now. That's why I say, talk about me. Yeah, okay. I facilitate and I oversee, I supervise, and I coach, and, I try to work tactics. But, people like Tommy, I want him on our mats working on Muay Thai, real Muay Thai with my guys.
Yeah.
How many guys can we really do it? Well, most of my guys are amateurs. I got a couple pros, but
you predominantly put people into mixed martial arts, amateur and pro, but you do occasionally put guys like Tommy's fought on a Road to Rebellion.
That's what he wants to do. So if someone comes to me, it says MMA.
Yeah.
Kimekai MMA is what I do.
Yeah.
I have sometimes we had kids that come in on a Saturday and go, I'm just a boxer, and I go, okay. You understand that you just came to Kimekai MMA.
Yeah.
You understand that, right? So you just want to box. What is it on your Instagram page that you don't really understand about, if you go to the Thai restaurant, you start ordering Greek food, what's up with you? Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's partially why I put the stuff on the shores, so that people would stop saying, look, I want to get my boy on, but, you do K1. It's like... They cannot.
I think that's the beauty of rebellion. It's the terrible beauty. And that to me it's liberating. It is very nourishing for me to go to a rebellion event and I get to just be a fan.
Yeah.
It's funny. Sometimes I stand in the crowd now. Like every now and then I bring one of my fighters. We stand in the crowd and Tommy sees me. He's running around with his camera. I'm standing in the cheap. I want. It's the closest thing that I can get back to Ranchadam or the old Lumpini, not the new Lumpini.
But even now, obviously promoting shows, we sell the seats and the tables and the premium. But if I go to a fight show and all the guys, like you go to each other's fight shows, they give you, I still like to stand there because standing there and watching it, I find it very awkward sitting at a table with food in front of me watching fights.
Two, I want to be behind the chain link fence.
Yeah. And it is. It's.
I want the 180 baht seat.
Yeah. It's that whole getting the.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
No, but you go there and they put you on those seats with the seat covers on it, ringside with the tourists with the cameras, and you're like, I'll just go back up there and sit over there. What were when you were first here and you were involved more training strikers, and you were fighting more in kickboxing and Muay Thai?
Yeah, I came here to fight and train.
Yep. And then with the fight scene back then, and then we've had the transition to MMA.
This was back in the Chris Cronus, Tosca, Pedritas.
And the stuff that people don't realize how big that was. Like I tell them, we used to go to Glass House.
The Glass House.
And 8,000 people.
8,000
Phenomenal.
People. You got to understand, Melbourne was the center of kickboxing. Okay, I'm an American kid. I was like, I can't believe it. Dennis Alexio, Stan Longinidis. I felt like I was at Lumpini.
Yeah.
But also I felt like there was some untruth to it too, because we should have been at Ranchadam or Lumpini. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was not Muay Thai.
No. It wasn't. It was something amazing. Like I tell
Muay
people
Thai was
sometimes,
present. I worked Darren Hedgecock's corner and Tom Herring.
Yes.
We fought and beat one of his Surinamese guys.
because you had like 9 fights in the card, and you'd have 1 or 2 Muay Thai fights. They had the crowning. They had.
Well, we even had Sam Greco do
karate. So
Kyokushin.
I fought ring karate out of like wrestling and stuff. I went back. I only wanted to do that because I was on the floor when Sam Greco fought Bob Crawford on the Misaki Satake stand the man card, and I would have been like 6 seats out. And I remember Greco came out in his pants and his beard,
belt.
And I remember when he knocked that guy out with the knee to the head, the sound it made through that place, and the crowd going crazy. It was like, look, I love Muay Thai, but it was like, I want to do that one time. I want to be in the ring like Sam Greco.
Yep.
But no one understands the atmosphere of the Glass House when Stan was fighting Satake, and it was 12 rounds, and Satake kicked the shit out of his legs, and it wasn't Muay Thai, but as a combat sports thing, It was phenomenal. That
Oh,
place
what
was
about
packed.
Rodriguez? Blinky Rodriguez trained kid from Los Angeles who fought Steve Vick.
Ah, yes. Yep.
What was that kid's name? I can't remember. The Latino kid.
Yes.
But anyhow, Los
He was on
Angeles
the same
kid.
card as the
But
Stan
that
and
fight,
Alexei.
we pulled Steve Vick out. I remember helping guys push him on the stretcher, the ambulance. What do you call him? The gurney.
Yep.
Wrapped in ice after that fight. That was
on the same card as the Stan and Alexei fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
exactly.
Steve Vick fought and Tastastrides fought.
Yep. And Darren fought on that
Yeah,
card too.
yeah.
Yep. And funny little story. I'm standing up after the fights on the, in the back
Yep.
area, but before you had the floor, which was a basketball court, I guess.
Yeah.
So you had the floor seating, and then you had a upper area.
Yes.
Well, right below that, I'm standing next to him, and a guy starts talking to me, and I look at him, and I actually said, I go, I know you. And he had an American accent, kind of. And I said, oh, I know you, don't I? And I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I should know you. I know you. And it was Tino Sobrano,
Oh, wow.
Punchy.
Yeah.
And so he was there. And I think it was the Hawaiian connection too. I mean, it was a huge martial arts event.
It was on TV. They were getting on the Steve Izard late show. They were,
Kerry Packer was there.
yeah.
Kerry Packer was there.
Yeah.
I remember Stan pointed him out, and he got a little bit funny about it, but he was there because he knew Stan had eyes on him. It's no different than all the fight sports. Yeah. Whenever there's traffic, eyes, what do you call it? Followers, the whole, IP addresses. It's money, right?
Yeah.
So the money attracts money.
Yeah.
So he had people. And Stan was the guy, who is Rebellion Stan?
That's what we're always working on.
I mean, you got Blair, right?
Yeah, Blair's son Toby. He was the biggest. He's currently the biggest fighter we've got in Australia, name-wise. And it's that trying to build that fighter up again. Like we had Roy Wills was one of the guys from Blair Smith.
Right.
Roy started on the second
You
rebellion
got his guys
by
and
quite
his son.
by quite an accident last minute, and he basically, his fight name used to be the Red Bull. No one knows. I changed it to Roy the Rebel Wills because he was Rebellion's rebel, and he was one of the guys. And we've had all these guys that have come through, but we're still not at that stand the man stage. But there's so much going on with fight sports. It's got spread out so much. I don't know if we're going to get to that 8,000.
This is what I'm talking about. When you see it in the cage, when you see it in the ring, and it's the truth of that. Don't go, oh, but this is missing, but
No.
negative. Go celebrate it and go, that's what I come from, that's what I enjoy, and whatever. I mean, why can't a Muay Thai person enjoy a wrestling match if it's real?
And that's, I think that's one of the things people always get wrong about me, which I don't know, but like, oh, you hate K1. I'm like, I love K1. I grew up watching K1. I love Peter. Peter Etz was my hero. I love that stuff. I wrestled more than I did anything else. I love wrestling. I did jiu-jitsu. In its purest form, they're amazing. Like, you should be able to appreciate, and like you said, the truth of the combats, because, like, I think wrestling's one of those sports when first time you wrestle, you go, okay, there's no fluff about this. There's no bullshit. Like, my coach used to say, this is the house of truth. You can't talk your way out of it. You can't do anything. You're on the mat. You got to work your ass off. And I think if you love combat sports, once all the politics and promotion and lights is stripped out, you should be able to sit down and watch kickboxing or Muay Thai.
I get insider information. You have a certain view of some of the one championship stuff.
Yep.
But you look at that event, and the last event, and where was it? Singapore. Was in Singapore. Was in a ring.
Yeah.
Was in a ring. Before, cage. I can't even remember. And so many events, Okay. So, can we not agree, though, that the striking codes are a much higher level than their MMA code?
By a long shot. by a long.
But that's the truth.
That's the truth.
And the thing is, Yod Chatri has his pulse on. He does know Muay Thai.
He's got a lot of good guys around him that know it real well. He's a very smart man. He's got very good advisors.
Okay, you're not.
Yeah.
I like that. You're telling
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
But we're seeing the technical. Okay, it's kickboxing. No, it's K1, whatever. But there's some fantastic fighters there. And we're seeing some, they're fantastic fighters. We're seeing some fantastic fights.
Phenomenal.
Celebrate it, man.
I do.
And this is today. This is today, right now.
I think one.
I'm not saying to you. I'm saying the greater
everyone.
community.
And I think
all
it is.
these people that listen to you, go in there and go to people that are a casual UFC fan or whatever. Go watch some of these one championship striking fights. The MMA's is what it is. It is. It's not at the level of the UFC. They're having some good fights, but it's spotty. That's the truth.
No, it's
That's the truth. You know, wherever DJ Demetrius Johnson goes, there'll be quality and excellence. No question.
But I reckon if you had the UFC decided to build a striking league with predominantly North American fighters, it would be the comparison in reverse. Whereas in Asia, where one championship is, they've got this talent pool of strikers.
I.e., my thing back to there is an intrinsic cultural tie with Thailand, Muay Thai, and one championship. You can't deny that.
100%.
And it's in its blood. And it's not in the blood of, name another promotion.
No.
So celebrate that and embrace it and go, it's living. It's living.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true. I've been told that one wants to, the whole certification, accreditation of the agents is about Muay Thai fighters.
Good.
I don't know if that's true. And the discrepancies and the realities, and that's a cultural reality also. And that's a part that they don't want. What are we talking? What percentages?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
what percentages?
Percentage of
A good percentage is 50%, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
50% of the fighter's wage is garnished.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I raised you, but
It's a different world. It's a different time. It's a different money.
yeah, and once there's a TV camera,
Yeah.
that means there's TV money somewhere. Someone's getting TV money.
100%.
And when the camera's involved, that changes everything.
And I think that because there's guys on that there's probably one or two ties in there that the kind of money they're making is beyond anything they would have ever seen. And I want to know how much of that money gets in his pocket.
Yeah. And hopefully,
The 50%,
but
yeah.
celebrate that.
Yeah.
Celebrate that and embrace it and support it because it's all about those fantastic. I mean, who do we see fight? Who lost? Yod Sinclair.
Yod Sinclair and Sami Sana,
But that was a great fight.
It was.
It was a great fight. And what Yod Sinclair say? Now I want to fight with little gloves. Think about that flip.
Yeah, exactly.
And with his left hand, it could change it. But that was a great fight, period. Anybody can watch that fight and go, nah, that was a great fight.
I think for me, though, if I have any criticism of it, is that because it's that transition to a new rule set.
Yeah.
And that's my K1 issue is that it's still not clear. So what's happened with Petrosian and stuff?
I agree.
That's where the truth part of it gets diluted. It's like
Okay, who did you have winning that fight?
the tie, for sure. Because I looked at it.
Tommy, who did you have winning that fight?
Doesn't matter what I think.
It matters.
See, that's weak. You gotta back yourself. You told me Petrosian, right? And it came down to the last round, did it not?
Yeah, it was one
They
round
won,
each.
1-1, right? Okay, so we're in agreement.
Yeah.
We're old combat sports guys,
Yeah.
and all those old combat sports people, all those young combat, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. I mean, you do it on social media, but do it live and say, this is okay, so we're coming down to 3 minutes now. And they both knew it, too.
Yeah.
And what did Petrosian do?
I don't think he did enough.
He played games.
Yeah.
Now, I had him winning, but I was disappointed in the last round. For both of them, too, though. Because I thought maybe, I was a toss-up. It was a coin flip. And I guess I went on the last round, and I probably deferred to my MMA eyes, less damage. So he was getting hit less, as Petrosian does.
Yeah.
So there's also going to be a school of thought that doesn't like his style.
He's one of my favorite fighters.
Yep.
But I thought he got to the point where
He thought,
I thought that
I
at around-
got it, and I'm going on to the next bracket.
I don't know. I think at the end of
We
round
didn't
one,
get the best 3 minutes of combat sports we
I
could
think
have.
at the end of round one, Pet Moricott came back for second round and adjusted his style to deal with it. At the end of the second round, I think Petrosian came back out
But you see-
and behaved like
I'm getting in the helicopter now, and
Yeah.
I'm just going, we're having the artful, poetic conversations about combat sports because they've put it on an app, and you and I can watch it on our phone. We can share it with each other. We can talk about it. We can analyze it. We can go over it like we love to do. We
Yeah.
can be passionate about it. Embrace that.
yeah, no, 100%.
And can we do that with an Omni Stadium fight? Maybe if we know where to go.
Yeah, if
Is
it's
it
more
easy?
accessible, exactly.
Then that's what you do with your fights.
Yeah.
And you're taking grassroots Muay Thai, and you're going, here we are. So please, community, embrace it and back the fighters. Remember, it's always about the fighter. Just like these 300 fight, 200 fight Muay Thai guys, they deserve to make more money. Yes or no?
100%.
And this gives them a platform to do it. You know, Nicky Holskin, what did he do before he came back over to one? What was he doing? He was boxing.
Boxing, yeah.
Why?
Money.
Thank you.
100%.
Wasn't about the art.
Yeah.
It was the truth. What's the truth? The truth is I can make more money doing this, and I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Would he been great at it? As great as he was. Okay, look at that. We just saw Raymond Daniels, that 2-set. What was it?
Lima, yeah, on
three,
Bellator.
whatever the hell it was, spin punch.
Ah, yeah,
okay,
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
a Raymond Daniels fan, but there's some truth. Okay, but he's got a Muay Thai coach. Okay, he's got a Muay Thai. Works on Muay Thai every day.
Yeah.
Right? He does. I can't remember the guy's name. It's in California someplace. But look at Nicky with Ray Daniels.
Yeah.
Look at Nicky with Cosmo.
Yeah.
Go watch the Cosmo Nicky fight and then watch Sage Northcutt. That's Muay Thai.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't deny it. It's what it is. It is what it is. And two, okay, throwback to Pride in a ring. Is it purely a throwback to Pride and the homage to the Japanese MMA pathway? I don't believe so. I think Muay Thai in Thailand has an influence on that ring presentation. Also,
Yeah.
they're putting those striking fights in.
Yeah, it's interesting in the last 2 years that they've brought the ring in and they've brought the striking series in, whereas
All
before,
OWS fights, One Warrior Series fights, and they're all MMA, are in a ring. What up with that?
yeah. Do you think Sage?
You and I don't have a say in it.
No.
Do I think Sage will?
Do you think
This is
other than
probably
the-
where we're going to have to sign off.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Do you think other than the?
Why didn't you wrestle, Sage?
Yeah, but do you also think the being out of the cage into the ring
No.
affected it at all?
No influence on truth
Yeah.
whatsoever. No influence on truth.
No,
You know what I mean?
I know.
Okay, okay, we could pull it
Yeah.
up on Bloody Elbow, whatever Uriah says. Okay, Uriah, very experienced combat sports guy, coach.
What did he say about it?
He said, I can't remember the exact words, but Sage Dad loves him very much, and God bless him.
Oh shit! Right.
So, go find the picture of Yod Chatri, Sage's dad, and Sage sitting ringside somewhere, cage side somewhere.
Yeah.
Where was Cosmo? Where was Cosmo? He deserved to be there too, didn't
Of
he?
course.
Well, he obviously does now.
now.
Anybody who can throw a boom dynamite like that deserves to be put up on a pedestal.
Yeah. And I don't think he was put in there as someone that anyone thought was going to do that.
But
As a matchmakers, I don't think that's what they put him there for.
but maybe they did.
Yeah. Because it's done wonders for, like, it was the same.
I don't want to go down the conspiracy
No,
path.
but I genuinely think some of the guys that have gone over, big name MMA guys and have lost, they've done more for the one brand of people's respect for their MMA quality than the other way around. It's being like, oh, look, this guy was a UFC ranked fighter and he's just got knocked out and he's got schooled. Who was the other guy that went in and got
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez that got schooled? And it was like, well, if Eddie had gone in there and cleaned up house, it wouldn't have necessarily been a good thing for one. Whereas now it's like, we've got fighters. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Ed.
Peace out.
Peace. See you
All
soon.
that stuff. You can't see me.
Hello.